Hello, everyone. Uh, my name is Ms. Kade Teresiana, and today I would like to introduce to you food chemistry. We are going to have a series of lectures in Introduction to Food Chemistry, and this course unit basically focuses on students of food science and also students of nutrition and even students of public health. This is a multidisciplinary approach whereby your knowledge in food chemistry is going to influence your knowledge in food science, and it will also be important for your knowledge of human nutrition and also public health and many other biological sciences. We would like to understand what is food chemistry about. When you hear the word food chemistry, we have two major words there, food and chemistry. Food involves what we take into our body to nourish us so that the body can function well, so that you're able to coordinate your day-to-day activities. And chemistry involves a series of reactions that occur. And these reactions can be biological and can also be biochemical. So food chemistry is basically about the study of food composition, the chemical changes that occur to food during handling, processing, and storage. And we mainly focus here on the macronutrients, which are the carbohydrates, the fats, the proteins, and then the water. And we also focus on the micronutrients, which involve the vitamins and the minerals, including enzymes and a few other micronutrients. And food chemistry is also concerned with improving food quality, ensuring safety. Understanding food chemistry will help us to know how best to handle food substances during the process of harvesting, post-harvest, and then during the process of processing these foodstuffs, and also storage, including transportation until this food product reaches the final consumer. So why is it important to study food chemistry? Like I said before, it's very important for us to understand food chemistry so that we can know the composition and the reactions that occur in food throughout the several stages, such as processing, transport, and also storage. And it also helps us to detect changes that may affect quality and safety. It's very important as a food scientist, as a nutritionist, or as a food specialist to be able to know what is food chemistry and what are some of the various composition reactions that occur to these food substances, so that you may know how best to handle this food in order to achieve maximum quality and safety for the consumers. It also helps us to preserve nutrients and also ensures consumer satisfaction. As a food scientist, as a food chemist, you have to know that the final product that you produce for the consumer will determine the quality of the work that you are doing. If your product is of good quality, the consumers are going to be satisfied. If your product is of good quality, also the nutrients are going to be preserved in this food product, and the consumers are going to be happy because they are acquiring a food product that is having a vast majority of the nutrients that helps to nourish their bodies, and so they'll keep coming back. Understanding food chemistry, understanding food science, and all the various aspects, including molecular biology, is very important, because when you are in this profession, it's not about knowing or having the knowledge of food science. We have a goal here. We want to make food products that we can easily market so that we are able to also get a value out of the knowledge. We do not study for the purpose of only knowledge. We study for the purpose of bettering ourselves. And if we better ourselves, then we need to make sure that we produce quality products that we are able to also sell to give us quality and good value for money. Food chemistry also focuses on the chemical composition of foods, which I already talked about. The major components, we said that the macronutrients that encompass the carbohydrates, the lipids, and the proteins. and these ones form the bulk of the mass consumed in our diets. Most of the food products we consume contain these major nutrients, and also including the few micronutrients that are involved and present in these food substances. Food structure and function. This is one of the major concepts that we need to understand in food chemistry. The structure and the function of food are very central concepts in food science, and these influence everything from the nutritional value to the sensory experience. Food structure refers to the spatial arrangement of components within a food product, encompassing scales from molecular to macroscopic. So it involves the way the food substance is arranged, the structure and the spatial arrangement of this food substance, how this food substance is shaped, the size. All these are aspects that are encompassing the food structure. How the different elements in these food components are arranged inside the food particle. And this structure determines the key attributes of food, such as the texture, the appearance, the stability, and digestibility. So the key structural elements in food, we already said we have the macronutrients, which include the proteins, and proteins form the networks through processes like gelation and denaturation, and these affect the texture of products, for example, yogurt and tofu. Carbohydrates, these are polysaccharides such as starch, comprising amylose and amylopectin that contribute to viscosity and gel formation in foods, for example, sauces and puddings. Fats and oils. Fats and oils influence the mouthfeel, the flavor release, and also formation of emulsions, as seen in products, for example, ice cream and mayonnaise. Water is one of the very important elements that are involved in food, and it acts as a solvent and plasticizer, which affects the mobility of molecules and the overall structure of food and texture of food. Food function. Function basically means the roles or the use. So food function refers to the roles of these food components. Food function pertains to the roles that various components of food play in both the food product and the human body. And these functions can be categorized as nutritional functions. What are the nutritional contributions of this food substance? Here we look at providing the essential nutrients, for example, the carbohydrates that provide us with energy to drive our daily activities, and then proteins that are very important for tissue repair, and then fats for cellular functions and enzymatic reactions. Sensory functions. These attribute to mainly the taste, the aroma, the color, and the texture, which also influence the consumer acceptance and enjoyment. Then we also have the physiological functions, and this pertains to affecting the bodily processes beyond the basic nutrition. For example, dietary fiber that is important in aiding digestion. We also have antioxidants that help to reduce oxidative stress and nourish our DNA so that our systems can be strong and function effectively. What is the interplay between structure and function? The structure of food components directly influences their function or their function. For example, protein denaturation. Heat-induced unfolding of proteins can lead to gel formation, which affects the texture of cooked eggs or cheese. So we can see the interplay between structure and function. Once these proteins are subjected to heat, the structure of the proteins within unfolds. And this unfolding of this protein structure leads to expansion and hence formation of a gel substance. And this gel substance that is formed affects the texture of some food substances, for example, cooked eggs. We have all seen how eggs behave when they are boiled and when they are fried. This is all influenced by the structure and then the function. Then we have also what we call starch gelatinization. Heating starch in water causes it to swell and thicken. And this is essential in products, for example, sauces and baked goods. We apply the structure and the function of these food substances to help us to produce various processed food substances, for example, sauces and baked goods such as cakes and bread. Emulsion stability. The arrangement of oil and water phases stabilized by emulsifiers determines the consistency and the shelf life of products, for example, salad dressings. So these are the interplay that is involved between the structure and the function of food components. We also have what we call food analysis in food chemistry. What is food analysis? This basically refers to the analytical processes that are used by industries, agencies, and universities, including various other small-scale establishments. And this process is very important because it aims at ensuring regulatory compliance. We need to see the food products that we produce, what is composed of these different food components. Are these food components safe and of good quality? Are they going to offer customer satisfaction? Are they going to also offer and provide good nutritional value to the consumers? Regulatory compliance. Are these food products safe for consumption? Are they free from toxic substances? Are they also free from germs that may lead to food poisoning and foodborne illnesses? These are all questions that you ask yourself. And this is why we carry out food analysis. It also helps us to monitor consumer trends. The consumer satisfaction can be seen from the quality of your product. The less the quality of the product, the less the consumer satisfaction, and also the less the rate of consumer compliance. This is going to be noticed in the number of customers that you get. The food products that you make, the sales you make will be also very important in helping you to determine whether your product is good or not. The more consumers you have, the more sales you will have, and that will also help you gauge and know whether your food product is of good quality and if it is also safe for consumption, or if it is very appeasing and appetizing to the consumers. It also helps us to guarantee food quality and safety. So what are the reasons for food analysis? Government regulations. Food analysis helps us to follow the government regulations, and it is very necessary for compliance with safety and labeling standards. Once you know the various components that are involved in this food product you have produced, you are going to be able to know how to label these products according to agreed government and international standards. It also helps you to know the safety of this product. How safe is it? And what is also the quality of this product? Nutritional labeling. Once you produce a food product, it's very important to put a nutrition label. And this nutrition label helps you to know the various nutritional components that are present in this food product and what are the nutritional values that the consumers are going to get. This will help consumers to make informed choices because each consumer has their own tastes and preferences. One consumer may prefer a food that has a lot of sugar. The other may prefer food without sugar. For example, we have some consumers that have chronic sicknesses such as diabetes and hypertension, including others. For diabetic patients, it's important for them to read food and nutrition labels so that they know, because they're supposed to consume foods that have less sugar, the food that is nutrient dense, not calorie dense, because calorie dense foods are going to compromise their body system and worsen their health condition. A patient that is suffering from hypertension needs to make sure that they look out for a food that has less salt or less sodium so that they are going to be able to consume these products and that will nourish their systems and help to reduce the effect of the hypertension. Quality control. This also helps to maintain competitive and safe products. Consumer trends. The demand for healthier and higher quality foods. Like I already told you, it's very important for you to know the trends of your consumers. The more consumers you have for a product, it means your product is probably of a higher quality, of a healthier value. When we are carrying out food analysis, we have samples that are needed. So we are going to look at some of the types of samples needed during food analysis. Raw materials. The raw materials you use for making the food product, it's very important to check for the authenticity and the quality of this product. There are some raw materials that are not supposed to be present in your final food product. You have to check the composition of this raw material so that you pick out those elements that are not healthy for consumption, that are not internationally healthy for consumption. For example, some of these food substances may have heavy metals. And these heavy metals, once you notice them in this particular raw material, for example, yams, it's important for you to know how you're going to select out these heavy metals so that you remain with a raw material that does not have these heavy metals that may endanger the health of your consumers. We also have what we call the process samples. Process samples ensure acceptable final characteristics. These are the samples that you use during the processing, the additives you put into the raw material so that you have a palatable and a very good tasty final product. Then we have the finished products. These finished products verify the label claims and the nutritional quality. Once you have finished producing this product, you still have to analyze the sample so that you know what is the nutritional composition of this final product, so that you'll be able to label this food product. And then we also have what we call the competitor and complaint samples. These are helpful for you to do benchmarking and problem investigation. The key steps in food analysis. 1, you have to select and prepare the sample. And this sample has to be representative and it has to be properly handled. Then you have to perform the assay. Each assay can be unique to the analyte or the food type you are making. And then you have to finally analyze and interpret. You have to use accurate calculations for meaningful calculations. Choosing an analytical method. 1, you have to know the objective. Your objective must match the measurement goal. For example, we have rapid test versus the detailed nutritional analysis. A rapid test will help you to just roughly know the quick and simple components that you are going to use. And then detailed nutritional analysis involves finding out each of the components, the major and the micronutrients that are involved in this food product. Then the method characteristics. Familiarity with chemistry and the steps required. This helps you to know the steps that you are going to take to carry out this particular analysis. And then method validity. This one considers the accuracy, the precision, and the sensitivity of the method used. Then we have what we call food matrix effect. Complex foods. They are foods that have high fat and sugar. These foods may interfere with your analysis. So it's important for you to also carry out the food matrix effect to know what are the simple and the complex food components involved in this analysis so that you can know the various aspects that are involved for you to carry out a very good and quality analysis. So this is what we have today. Next, we shall look at the different dispersion systems involved in food chemistry and analysis. Thank you.